Question, the member from Windsor West.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Education. Speaker, as we know, Budget 2016 again squandered the Liberal government's chance to be a leader on childcare. Worst of all, its new childcare regulations put our youngest children with much older children and fewer staff. Apparently, this government believes that a 12-month-old child is a toddler. The Premier and her government are failing families in Ontario. Parents, particularly women, are being forced to halt re-entering the workforce because they can't find a childcare space. Speaker, can the minister explain why, in 2016, the government does not have a childcare policy?
Thank you. Minister of Education.
Well, in fact, we have a very extensive child care policy. We have consulted broadly with the sector. We have gotten rid of the Old Day Nurseries Act, dramatically out of date, introduced new Child Care and Early Years Act, which not only clarifies the regulations around licensed child care, but puts into place a whole host of new laws and regulations, making child care in the unregulated home care sector much safer for parents. We have done more policy work on developing child care and early years policies than any other government in the last 30 years.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. Childcare providers, professionals in the sector, and parents have all said they do not support the regulation changes. And I need to point out that in the 2016 budget, there is no money for childcare. My question's back to the minister. So much for a premier and a minister who promised to make childcare a priority. How long does it take to make a priority reality? Parents in Ontario are paying the highest childcare costs in the country. Lists for subsidized care just keep getting longer. Hopefully they don't just start kicking people off like they have with autism. Our most vulnerable families are struggling to ensure their children have access to quality, affordable childcare. We know that the federal government isn't guaranteeing that provinces will get the funding that they promised. Can the minister confirm that Ontario will get the money for childcare their friends in the federal government promised, yes or no?
Thank you. Minister.
Yes, and what I can speak to is our government's record on funding childcare. Since 2003-4, our government has doubled childcare funding to more than $1 billion annually. In 2016, this year, the ministry is providing over $1.05 billion to 47 municipalities, and that's an increase in funding of over $16 million since last year. So the money continues to go up. In addition to that, Speaker, we are investing $269 million over 3 years to subsidize the wages of our workers in the child care sector. We started last year with $1 an hour subsidy. This year it goes to a $2 an hour. In the licensed home care sector, it goes from a $10 a day subsidy to a $20 a day subsidy.
New question.